Hello, my name is Karen Hughes, and I am the Domestic Violence Clinical Services Coordinator, and I want to welcome you to Life Crisis Today. Child abuse is something sometimes we worry about for our kids, or someone else's kids, or our aunt, our cousins, or our nieces, or nephews. We probably know somebody who has had child abuse in their history. And we're going to be talking about that today. But we're also going to be talking about where to go and who to report to, who do you call, and where can someone get services. And with me is one of the Life Crisis Center's child therapists, Chris Bozick. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, Karen. How are you today?
Good. I know that you are a life crisis therapist, but you're also assigned to the Wicomico County Child Advocacy Center.
Yes. One of the good collaborations that we have in our community is the Wicomico Child Advocacy Center. The state of Maryland has mandated that each county provide a child advocacy center to serve children and families that have experienced maltreatment.
And it has a long history. It's not a new thing.
It does. Actually, the first child advocacy center, when we first opened, was in August of 1999.
Wow, long time.
And we're very excited because this year we're going to have our grand opening of our own building. So the county invested in us, and we are going to have our own standalone building.
Wow.
And it's on Market Street.
Yeah.
So our grand opening is April 28th of this year.
It's a long time coming.
Very. A lot of hard work and decades of local professionals really putting their hearts and soul into it.
Yeah. Let's define Child Advocacy Center because everybody has a different idea of what it is.
Right. The Child Advocacy Center is a nationally recognized model where you provide a sort of one-stop for families who have experienced maltreatment. So we have a team of experts, and we're co-located. So we have the mental health provided by Life Crisis. We have a medical provider through Tidal Health. We have our state's attorney's office, our law enforcement. We have the sheriff's department and Salisbury SPD. And we have a victim advocate, and then we have child protective services. So we're all co-located so we can serve the family.
That's that one roof that you're getting as a new thing. And the mission and purpose for it is?
The mission is to help families navigate and ensure the safety of children in our community. And so if there has been a suspicion of any maltreatment, physical, sexual, neglect, or mental injury, it comes through our referral process through Child Protective Services. And then depending on the information provided to social services, they initiate an investigation.
And they serve a lot of people.
So far this year, we've had 378 cases since July.
Wow.
That have come through
this fiscal
DSS.
year, yeah.
So Wicomico really strives to do a good job serving our families. But yes, so very busy.
You mentioned earlier that it's to serve the children and the families. Can you talk about that a little bit more? Because the interviews, oh my gosh, you said so many services. They could be interviewed by each one of them, but that's not what the Child Advocacy Center does.
Right. So the way that families get initiated with the Child Advocacy Center is if someone makes a report of suspected abuse or maltreatment for a family, and it can be maltreatment directed towards a child, but it can also be domestic violence. If children witness domestic violence, that's also something that is reportable. And so professionals in the community who are mandated reporters are required to call social services and share that information. They're not investigators, but they just share that information.
Right.
If there is sufficient information, then they will initiate an interview with the child.
Okay.
And if they talk to them, if it's indicated, they'll come to the Child Advocacy Center. We have a forensic interviewing room where trained experts interview the child. And any family members that are relevant.
Right. And it's a forensic interview.
Yes.
Because most people think you interview, I was just talking to somebody. This is
Right.
a specific way of interviewing.
If there is maltreatment of a child that arises to a criminal investigation, it would be a forensic interview. But the DSS staff, who are trained experts, will interview a child and make a determination if they think there is an indicated abuse that occurred. Not every case ends up that way.
Right.
Sometimes
Right.
they are investigations, what we call an alternative response, where they try to provide an intervention with the family to link them with resources. The goal is to help sustain and support families.
Right.
It's not to remove children and tear families apart.
Oh, that is such a fear. Oh my
Yes,
gosh,
yes,
social
yeah.
services coming. They're going to take my children.
The goal is to keep children safe.
Right.
And so sometimes families just need additional resources and to know different ways that they can help sustain that
Okay.
family. But if it goes to an indicated child abuse, that is with the Child Protective Services Agency.
Right.
That is not a criminal. And so if there is evidence of a criminal event against a child, then the police are involved in that interview. They can watch the forensic interview with the Child Protective Service worker. And then depending on the outcome of that, they'll make a referral to our state's attorney's
Right.
office. And then they decide whether or not there's sufficient evidence to make a charge.
Okay. And again, the types of abuse that is reportable.
Physical abuse, and that's physical injury of a child.
Okay.
It results in an injury of a child. It could be a burn, it could be intentional burn, it could be physical events against a child that result in a visible injury. Sexual abuse is any unwanted touching, and it also could involve a child being asked to touch another person, and that involves a caregiver.
Right.
It is someone who's in a role of caregiving or in the home.
Not like a peer or
It's not a peer, that would be assault. A caregiver could be, though, if they're in a church setting and they have responsibility for a child. In the school, it could be at a neighbor's house if they were spending the night. You know, it's someone that has a responsibility for the care and safety of that child
Right.
at the time of the event.
right. So, okay, let's talk about the process.
Okay.
Because you just said a mandated reporter, but it could be a neighbor too.
Yes, as professionals, healthcare, social workers, police, teachers, we're all mandated reporters,
Right.
which means we don't investigate, but if we have a suspicion or someone has shared information, then we call the Child Protective Services and make a report. However, as citizens or neighbors, or it could be a concerned family member, they can also make a report
Right.
and share the information that they have and why they think that child's at risk.
Okay. So the very first step is a report's made,
Yes, yes.
whether it be from the mandated reporter, the neighbor, the
Right.
family
Someone
member,
in the community, whoever. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And that comes into social services.
It does. And so there's a 1-800 number, and you would be directed to prompts. You're supposed to say if you're reporting suspected child abuse or maltreatment of a child. There's also, if someone is over 18, it goes to Adult Protective Services.
Okay.
And they can also be, maltreatment of an adult,
Okay.
a vulnerable adult.
Okay.
But you would be directed by prompts. You say the county where it occurred.
Okay.
And so it's not where you are, it's where you think the abuse occurred.
Right. Like, say, my cousin's daughter, it lives in Wicomico, or in Worcester County, and I live in Wicomico County. I would be told to call and say Worcester County.
Correct.
Instead of
Correct.
Wicomico. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes,
yeah.
it does.
Yeah. So there's a 1-800 number.
Okay.
It's 1-800-917-7383.
Okay.
And we always, if someone can't remember those numbers or can't find them, they can always call our hotline at Life Crisis 211. and they would direct them and give them the number. And there could be also if something happens when someone's out of state, say you're on vacation and you think something happened when you were in Florida, it has to be reported to where it occurred.
Okay.
So, and they could help you find those national resources.
Okay. So the report comes in, and then what?
So a report comes in, and based on the information, Child Protective Services determines whether or not to accept it. Sometimes there are cases that are screened out because there's just not sufficient information, or it is not apparent that there was maltreatment.
Okay.
But if it is accepted, the social workers, who are all trained experts, will interview the child, and they will interview any family members. And then based on that interview, that will determine next steps
Right.
where appropriate. So
Okay.
it might be that they're going to refer the family to the county, Wicomico County In-Home Services through social services, which will help them be connected with resources, help that family be more successful,
Right.
and meet some of their unmet needs.
Right.
If there is an indication of significant sexual or physical abuse, then depending on the police interview or what they determine as well, because they also conduct an investigation, it would be referred to the state's attorney, and then they would determine next steps.
Right. Whether it gets prosecuted
Correct.
or whether
Correct.
it isn't prosecuted, but it's still indicated.
They're two separate systems, and that's a good point,
Yeah.
because you could be indicated for abuse by Child Protective Services, but that is not a criminal indictment.
Right.
So they're two separate systems.
And that gets confusing for families all the time.
It could be like someone could be indicated for child sexual abuse by social services, but there are other factors that don't lead to a prosecution. That indicated abuse remains in their record. So if they go to apply for a job that involves being around children or being a teacher, anything that involves having access to children, they
Right.
would be flagged in the system.
Or any licensures, like social
Yes,
workers or
correct.
nurses or
Right.
any
Yes.
kind of medical professional.
Yes,
Yeah.
right, yes.
Yeah.
So, but if there is a prosecution or someone is indicted and it goes to court, then we, Life Crisis, and there's also a child or victim advocate through the Child Advocacy Center who's part of our team, and they help them with the court process. They will notify them of hearings. They will do court accompaniment and advocacy. We also have Josiah, who is our service dog,
Yes.
and as many times as possible, Josiah will come with the family, and they don't go in the courtroom, but they can be in the courthouse, and they provide emotional support. And Josiah also comes to therapy sometimes, so he's so beloved by children.
Yeah.
So.
Let's talk about the therapy, because you are one of the therapists that provides that. Talk about that service.
The service is meant to help families navigate a terrible thing that happened to them, but it's not who they are. And so we are all certified in trauma therapy, and which is best practice. And so our team of therapists will work with a child to help them work through the abuse they experienced. And we also help secondary victims, which could be siblings, could be parents. It affects the whole family.
It
It's kind
does.
of like you're throwing a pebble in a pond and the ripple effects. It just really impacts a family deeply. And statistically speaking, most children are harmed by someone they know or trust. And so that person's also going to be known and trusted by the rest of the family. So it can
Right.
be very emotionally devastating.
Right.
So we really try to help the families heal and move forward.
Right.
And that can be quite a long process, but it's also can be complicated if there's a court hearing, and it's very hard for children to disclose something that painful and
Right.
about someone that they
They love.
and trust.
Yes.
And trust.
Yes. And what's the youngest that you work with in treatment?
We, if they're probably 4 and up is mainly what we do. If it's someone younger, we're really going to be working with the family and trying to help the parents address some of those needs. So, and there could be other community resources that might work with someone younger than that.
You also mentioned that sometimes domestic violence is in the home as well. And I know you and I share cases all the time because I work with the domestic violence victims and the moms of the children. So talk about that, because that's a big thing that happens in homes.
Unfortunately, it does. And a lot of times parents or couples will think, well, the kids don't hear. They're not, they're in the other room. They were asleep. They're not. They listen, and they can also witness it. We have children that have often been try to protect one of the parents and get in the middle. They can get injured in that. We have had children that have had injuries trying to protect a parent, but it's devastating to them emotionally, and then their home is not safe. And so we do services for if they're court ordered. We have a batterers group that helps people heal and not use violence as a response to conflict. We help with protective orders if a family needs that, where the person who is abused is in the home with the children. So we have court advocates, and they help with those situations. But domestic violence does occur. Well, you know the statistics.
It's probably 65 to 85% of the time.
And so a lot of times people will minimize it. Oh, he just shoved me. Oh, well, he choked me, but he didn't kill me. So they minimize sometimes. And it's really hard to leave a situation like that because people think, but I love him or her. Women can be abusive too. It's not just men. So it's a very, very volatile emotional situation, but when children witness that, it really has a deep impact on them. It really does. And children will show with their behavior their feelings. They may not have the right words, but they'll start acting out in school, or they'll become aggressive at home with animals or pets. And sometimes maltreaters will harm pets too, family pets. So because they want to, it's like a power and control. So we also, that is something that social services does, try to intervene to try to have families be safe.
Right. And also, if you're working with a family, if you're helping that parent that's being abused also get treatment, whether it be through one of the support groups that I do or with the therapist, and they're getting supported, oh my gosh, that reinforces the healing in that family.
Right. And it's very important, the services that we provide, because we want people to be safe in their own homes, and it's not to be judgmental. It's just that it doesn't work. It doesn't get you what you need.
Yeah.
So
and we also have a bilingual therapist.
We do. It's a luxury to have Lisa. Yes, she's wonderful. Yeah. And we have a lot of families that need that service, and if they have another language that we do not provide, we have to use our language line, which is not ideal, but we can serve anyone with any language, native tongue.
I know, I've used that, yes. Let's talk about collaboration, because we do collaborate within the Child Advocacy Center, but we also collaborate within the community.
Yes. So with as I said, our Child Advocacy Center, we're all housed together. So we're able to collaborate and try to meet the needs of that family. So that we collaborate with other mental health providers. So sometimes when we get a referral from the Child Advocacy Center, a family may already be established with another mental health provider. And so we're able to provide our services without interfering with any insurance needs or things. So we can do the trauma work, and they maintain their other providers,
Right.
which is very nice
Right.
because then we can do the specialization, but they can still not lose contact with their established provider.
Right. And we reached, you said the number before, 300 and some, and that was the number of cases since last July.
Since this July, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If I needed to report it, you
Okay,
know,
yes.
and I have to call a number, and then they prompt me in making sure I'm putting it where the event happened.
Yes, yes.
And that number is?
It's 1-800-917-7383.
Okay.
And if someone were really worried about imminent danger, they could call 911.
Right.
And they would connect them. And then after hours, it may go through a different number, but they're available 24/7.
Right, right.
There's someone on call.
Okay. And April is Child Abuse Awareness Month.
Yes, yes.
And we have lots of events for pinwheels. Talk
do.
about the pinwheels.
Children are our most valued resource, and children are resilient and amazing, but they deserve to be safe in our
Yes.
community. So,
And be children.
yes, and so the pinwheel is a symbol of Child Abuse Prevention Month. And so we will do, actually on April 1st, we have our first pinwheel planting, and it's at the corner of, is it East Main Street at the corner of the park, and you'll see we put a pinwheel, so we'll be putting 378
Wow.
in the corner there, and so when you drive by, you see the pinwheels.
To honor
and,
every single person that
Yes.
got reported last year.
and we try to put them all over town. So schools will put them up, people will put them in their yards, but they're the blue
Right.
pinwheels,
Yeah.
so that's exciting.
Yeah.
And then Somerset County, I believe, has theirs on the 4th. I could have the
think
wrong
so.
date.
Every
And
county
then
does it.
Every county,
Every
yes,
county does
yeah.
it, yeah.
So look for those when you're driving around,
Yes.
and think of children.
Yes. So is there anything else? Oh, wait a minute, the grand opening.
Yes. So the Child Advocacy Center, hopefully we have all our furniture put together. It's supposed to have our grand opening on April 28th
Okay.
from 3 to 5.
Okay.
And it's on Market Street. It's across from the parking garage.
Okay.
It's like behind, for people who've been in Salisbury, it's behind the old firehouse.
Okay.
You know, it's right there. So
Right.
hopefully it will be recognizable. And we welcome all our community members
Right.
and partners to come see our center and see the work and where we do it.
Wow. It's a lot of work that's gone into that.
But there's such
So
an
exciting.
excellent team, and we have such a dedicated team. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just one of many, and our therapists at Life Crisis Center, we all work together as a team, and so a lot of us will share a family. Like if there are multiple siblings, we try to have every person have their own therapist. So some families, we try to have them come on the same day, so there may be five of
Oh, that's a
five
coordination issue.
therapists
Wow.
treating one yes,
Yes.
yes. But we try to really, we stay victim-centered and really, want people to feel good about themselves and
Right.
get the healing that they need.
Right. Is there anything else we forgot?
Well, let's see. With our services with Life Crisis Center, we also, with human trafficking, that's also another aspect of the Child Advocacy Center. We have human trafficking cases as well.
And human trafficking, we serve as both sex trafficking and labor
Labor,
trafficking.
yes, yes. And we also have CASA, which is our court-appointed special advocates who help children who are in foster care have an advocate that helps them navigate that system. So sometimes, sadly, some children can't remain in their family, so they end up hopefully in a good, loving foster placement. But we
Right.
have court-appointed special advocates, and they help the court know what's going on with that child and report to the judge so they can ensure that that child's needs are being
Right.
met. And of course, we have our domestic violence program. We have our legal program, which helps with protective orders and making sure people are safe
Right.
in that sense. And we have our hotline, which is 24/7, 988 or 211. What am I forgetting, Karen? Our
I think you
sexual
got it,
assault
yeah.
program. Also, I should mention, You know, we at the Child Advocacy Center, we work 18 and under for children. But a lot of times, you know, people have experienced that abuse when they were younger, but they never felt safe enough to tell. So we
Right.
also work with adults who experienced sexual abuse as a child
Right.
or sexual assault for rape victims. We also, with any physical abuse that they may have occurred when they were younger. So our services do the whole spectrum,
Right.
trying to make sure people get what they need to feel good about themselves and
Yes.
heal.
Yes. And you've been doing this a very long time, and I'm so grateful
Yes.
for you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah,
We
thank
won't-
you.
We won't say how long I've been around.
So, thank you.
Well, thank
Great
you.
information.
Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you. And remember, our hotline, if anyone has questions or they wonder, gee, I worry about this little kiddo, you know, you could call the hotline and sort of process it, and they could help direct you. So
Right.
you don't have to be the police, you know,
Right.
but it's better safe than sorry.
Yes.
So
Well, thank you.
thank you, Karen.
Our hotline is available 24 hours a day, and that number is 410-749-HELP. Again, 410-749-4357. As you heard, we also are part of 211, which is information referral. I don't know about you, but I can Google things and take a long time trying to find something. Don't struggle. Call. See if we have the services in our database, because we're part of the whole Maryland 211. As you hear, we're also part of 988, and that's the National Suicide Line. So if you're struggling with any of those issues, or you worry about a family member or friend or coworker that may have those issues, 988 is the National Suicide Line, and we are one of the people who answer. We can be reached on Facebook and Instagram. We have a website, www.lifecrisiscenter.org. As you hear, we have CASA, and we have a human trafficking program. We have a legal department that can help with protective orders. We have a lot of services. So if you have any questions, give us a call and see how we can help. I also want to thank PAC 14 for making this show available.